Tiger fans, it's time to review the round 16 clash against the Crows. Not a pretty game by any stretch of the imagination, going down by 68 points, 8-6-54 to 18-14, 122. Look, the first quarter again was probably the one that was a bit frustrating, not being able to kick a goal. I just wanted to be able to see us at least score a goal in each of the quarters, and I know that's a low bar to set, but to go goals again was a little bit disappointing. But in a lot of ways, this result wasn't totally unexpected. I mean, the Crows are third. It's somewhat a fairly accurate reflection of where both teams are at with their football. I know not all of us like that or are happy with that, but that's just the reality. So it's in some ways it's better to be accepting of it so we can move on and look forward to other bigger and better things. But in terms of the game itself, firstly, I do want to give a big shout out to Sam Banks. I thought he played a really, really good game. 25 disposals, 4 marks, 4 tackles, and 822 metres gained. That's a huge number. You don't see that happen many weeks with other halfbacks in the competition. So for him to hit that, he's just looking more and more confident and comfortable in his role. Good to see him get a goal too with that nice little loop around, get the handball from Dion Prestia and slot the goal. He's just starting to really pick up and work on the attacking side of his game a lot more. He's a good user of the ball, moves really well across the ground, and I think he's now owning that spot, isn't he? I mean, we probably felt that for a little while, but there hasn't been a drop-off in his form. It's been pretty consistent the last month and a bit, and I'm proud of him because it's a role in the team that we need someone to fill and do it at a good level, and he's tracking in the right direction. Jasper Alga, my man, 2 goals in his first full AFL game. For me, he kind of validated everything that I had been saying and thinking that he was going to do. He's just another goal avenue option that we don't currently have, or we didn't have previously in the forward line. He was probably a little bit off the pace to begin with. He got caught a couple of times with not disposing the ball quick enough, but that's completely normal for first 1 to 2 game players. And the Crows were bringing the heat as well. I think their pressure rating was over 200 for the first 2 quarters. So it's not really any wonder that the pressure side of things maybe caught him out. But he settled as the game went on, made some good decisions. I think he got 11 disposals. His first goal was obviously a little bit controversial, almost got taken off him, but he showed some good goal sense and awareness to get that. And then a nice mark and set shot for his second goal. So I think he looks nice out there. Definitely worth persisting with. I mean, we look at how many goals sort of Steely Green by comparison has kicked in the year, and Jasper's obviously tracking in good areas to potentially even pass him if he can do that on a weekly basis. So I thought he played really, really well. The midfield group, again, I know it's the same type of conversation every week, but I mean, Prestia did well, 29 disposals, 9 clearances. That's, some pretty good numbers. Hopper, 28 disposals, 5 clearances. Taranto had a bit of a lower game disposal-wise, 19 disposals, 6 clearances. But I thought the pick of the bunch was probably Jack Ross, to be honest. 23 disposals, 2 marks, 2 tackles, 9 clearances. I thought that was a really, really good game from him. He did have a couple of iffy moments early on with some disposal, but honestly, everyone within the team had some bad disposal at times, so I'm not gonna hang him out to dry for that because he definitely wasn't alone. But what he did do is when he made a mistake, he actually worked really hard to try and correct it. So he didn't just drop off and say someone else's problem. He actually tried to course correct what had happened, which was good. But it's no real surprise that he gets more time in the midfield, more centre bounce attendances, and we see a better performance from him. Kind of similar to what we were seeing in round 1 against the Blues. It shows he's not a half forward. I think we have to try and somehow get past this playing midfielders as half forwards and hoping that it works, because it's just not happening. And especially when you've got someone like Taj Houghton banging down the door in a week or two, I think we have to go down that route to get the proper guys in who can play the proper role. But Jack Ross, I thought he had a nice game. I thought he busted his ass and tried all day for us and was trying to make things work. But I still have the same concerns about the midfield unit in totality, because our CBAs only consisted of, I'm not including Ruckman in this conversation, but for midfielders, it only included Prestia, Hopper, Ross, and Taranto. Just those players exclusively. and I still just can't wrap my head around it. I know we talk about it almost every week, and I apologise, but again, when the game is sort of done and dusted, why not mix it up? I look at the games of sort of Seth Campbell and Ryan Mansell, for example. Seth Campbell did end up with 11 disposals and a goal, and he got 3 clearances from stoppages around the ground, which is lovely. Ryan Mansell, 7 disposals. He got a goal as well. Did he get a stoppage? Oh, he got a clearance stoppage as well. But earlier on in the game, because we're not marking the ball or bringing the ball to ground well in our forward line, these guys almost go cold, to use a footy term, and they don't get near the footy. And I just think that there's something in it with trying to get them up around the ball more, in the mix, in the thick of the action, get their hands on the football, build some confidence, and they might be able to get some other disposals around the ground and have a bit more of an impact that way. Steely Green was the other one that's a bit of a concern still. 4 disposals. I don't know. Just hasn't really been doing what we kind of want him to do. But then at the same time, I really don't think that Morris Jr. is going to make it as a small forward. So swapping him out still may not make too much difference. So I'm a little bit at a bit of a loss as to what to do in that space for the moment. And look, it was for our forwards in total, I mean, it was a bit of a dirty day. Lafau going down was really, really unfortunate. And look, thankfully, silver lining, it's only a calf. I'm not sure the severity, but we just have to change the way we move the ball forward, don't we? I mean, to be fair, a lot of it is because opposition teams set up really well. The Crows were exceptional at it. They forced us to kick down the line almost all the time. And that's what caused a lot of the frustration and the boil over of Lynch, because he was able to get scragged and double teams. What he did was just stupid, though. He should never have done it. But in a lot of ways, we're our own worst enemy with the way we move the ball. And that's equal parts us, equal parts opposition, and it's something we need to get to work on for the coming years. But look, overall, it was to be expected. I don't think we should act like these games weren't to be expected. And I know the last 3 games have been a little bit shit when you have the big losses to the Crows, the Bulldogs, and the Swans as well. But the takeaway I sort of have from it, if you look at their other results, they've actually beaten other teams by more than what they've beaten us by. So there's a little bit of silver lining there. So to me, that says that we're not just rolling over and copping the hiding. We are still fighting it out and reducing the margin. Granted, it also probably means that at various stages, the other team's taking their foot off the pedal, and that's allowed us to get a few goals. And, it is what it is. But it is good to know that we aren't the team they're beating by the most margin. I think there's something positive to come from that. But they are a dangerous prospect. They're 3 big forwards, but just too deadly on the day. Phil Thorpe, Fogarty, and Tex Walker. When Lafau went down and we had to reshuffle the deck chairs a little bit, that kind of threw things into a bit of disarray. I actually thought Miller did really well for 2.5 to 3 quarters, but the damn wall just kind of broke in the last quarter, and Phil Thorpe got a hold of him a little bit. And Noah Bolter's probably the last one I want to talk about. I know it divides people with what position he plays in. I know a lot of people like him as a defender. I don't think we've seen much of him as a defender in the last few weeks, to be honest. And I think the evidence in the last couple of games kind of shows that, and I've always felt this, but I always think that Noah Bolter is a better footballer when playing on instinct rather than having to rely on structure and going through process. He seems like more of a see ball, get ball type of player, and that's why he seems to do a lot better in the ruck when he can just follow the ball, track it around the ground, use his size and his speed to his advantage. And he even looked okay up forward at times too. So I think we're going to see him thrown around a little bit more in the coming weeks, especially with Lynch and Lafau out. We're going to have to be a little bit more creative, and maybe it gives him an option to chase the footy a bit more and get himself involved. But overall, look, not the game, not the result we were after, of course. A few learnings to be had. Luke Traynor, I should shout out as well. First goal for AFL football. Well done. That was a long time coming. It was a really nice mark, actually, and then a good conversion too. So I'm very, very happy for him. But yeah, look, I just think we need to see some more variation, especially when the game's cooked, like we've said before. But other than that, onwards to next week against the Cats, which will be a really interesting game given the players that we've got missing. We get Sam Lawler back, though, which will be obviously a huge boost. And that might be about it. Jaden Short might be available. He's I think he can slot in onto a wing or half forward. He might give us a bit extra there. But yeah, other than that, we've got to get to work and try and turn a few things around. So let us know what you think in the comments below. What did you think of the game? What did you like? What did you dislike? Were there any green shoots that you liked seeing in particular? And yeah, we will see you tonight for the live show. 8:30 p.m. We'll be live Monday night. So yeah, make sure you join in the chat and get involved. So until tonight, go Tigers.